Are you giving up that right to be present in court?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir, thank you. You can, it's okay with me if you stay seated. I just couldn't hear you.
Okay.
Mr. Herrin, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I could say this, he is on some medication which is described in the plea form. Therefore, anxiety and for sleep. And you'll see that right there. It does not interfere with his ability in any way to understand the proceedings.
Yeah.
And do those medications interfere with your ability to think clearly, make decisions?
No, Your Honor.
Is this a good time of day for you to be answering these questions, or would there be a better time of day for us to be doing this?
No, this is fine, Your Honor.
What if I told you a single moment, just seconds, can erase multiple lives, destroy families, and turn an ordinary teenager into one of the most talked about names on the internet? This is the story of Cameron Herrin, and why millions on TikTok couldn't stop talking about him. It started like any normal day in 2018. The sun was out over Bayshore Boulevard, a place known for its peaceful views, joggers, and families enjoying the day. Nothing about that moment hinted at what was about to happen. At the same time, Jessica Reisinger Raubenolt was simply doing something millions of parents do every day, walking with her child. No rush, no fear, just a normal crossing, the kind of moment you never think twice about. But a few streets away, everything was different. Engines were roaring, 2 cars, speed climbing fast. Way too fast. Behind the wheel was Cameron Herrin, just 18 years old. Young, carefree. Probably thinking about adrenaline, not consequences. Witnesses later said the cars were racing, pushing past limits, turning a public road into something deadly. And then in a flash, it happened. No warning. No time to react. The impact was instant. In seconds, that peaceful boulevard turned into a scene of chaos. Sirens, shock, and people trying to understand what just happened. Lives were lost in a moment that never should have existed. But here, where the story takes a turn no one expected, because years later, this tragic case didn't just stay in courtrooms or news reports. It exploded online. Millions of people across the world began debating, arguing, even defending someone convicted in a case that took innocent lives. How did a tragedy become a viral obsession? Why were people sympathizing with Cameron Herrin? And what really happened in court that led to a 24-year sentence? Before we continue, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from, and if you've heard about this case before, because in the next part, things get even more intense. But what happened after that crash is where everything became even more complicated, and honestly hard to process. Right there on Bayshore Boulevard, people rushed in. Some tried to help. Others stood frozen, not even understanding what they had just witnessed. Within minutes, emergency services arrived, but for Jessica Reisinger Raubenolt and her child, the outcome was already devastating. And just like that, 2 lives were gone. Now imagine this, 1 second you're living your normal life, the next, you're at the center of a tragedy that will never be forgotten. For Cameron Herrin, that moment didn't end at the crash scene. It was just the beginning. Police quickly began investigating. Witnesses spoke up. Details started coming together. Reports revealed the cars were moving at extremely high speeds, far beyond what any public road should allow. What looked like a split-second accident was now being seen as something much more serious, not just a mistake, a decision, and that changed everything. Because once authorities determined that this wasn't just reckless, but involved street racing, the consequences became much heavier. Charges were filed. The case started building, and suddenly, debate online. But trust me, what happened after that sentence was announced? That's what turned this case into something far bigger than anyone expected. Before we get into that, I need you to do one thing, comment below. Do you think moments like this should be judged as accidents or crimes? Because in the next part, you're going to see why the internet completely split over this case. The day of judgment finally came, and the courtroom was silent in a way that felt heavy, Like everyone already knew this moment would change lives forever, Cameron Herrin stood there, facing the consequences of a decision made in seconds. No more speculation, no more debates. Just the final word from the judge. And then it was said, 24 years in prison, you could feel the shift instantly. Some people believed it was justice. Others thought it was too harsh for someone so young. But for the family of Jessica Reisinger Raubenolt, no number of years could ever undo what had been taken from them. That's the part people often forget. A sentence can close a case, but it doesn't heal a loss. As Cameron was led away, his life changed permanently. From freedom to a prison cell, from being an 18-year-old with a future ahead, to someone whose next decades were already decided. And for a while, that's where the story seemed to end. But it didn't, because years later, something unexpected happened. This case came back louder than ever, not in court, but on the internet. Out of nowhere, videos about Cameron Herrin started going viral on TikTok. Millions of views, edits, emotional music, people analyzing his face, his age, his life. And then things got even more shocking. A wave of users began sympathizing with him. Some called the sentence too much. Others said his life was ruined too young. Hashtags spread fast. Comment sections turned into battlefields. But at the same time, another group of people pushed back hard. They reminded everyone of what actually happened on Bayshore Boulevard. They spoke about responsibility, about choices, about the lives that were lost. And just like that, this wasn't just a case anymore. It became a global debate. Justice, or sympathy, accountability, or second chances. And the truth is, there's no easy answer. But here, where it gets even more intense, because while the internet was arguing, Cameron's legal team was doing something behind the scenes. They were fighting to reduce his sentence. An appeal was filed. Hope once again entered the picture. Could his time be shortened? Could this case take another turn? In 2022, the answer finally came, and it changed everything again. Before we go into that final decision, I want you to be honest. Has social media ever changed your opinion about a serious case like this? And don't forget to comment where you're watching from, because in the next part, you'll see how one final decision closed the door for good. In 2022, everything came down to one final decision. After all the debates, the viral videos, the endless arguments online, the court had the last word. Cameron Herrin's appeal was reviewed. His legal team pushed for a reduced sentence. Hoping the years could be short. Hoping there was still a way to change his future. But the answer came back clear, denied, just like that. The 24-year sentence stood exactly as it was, no reduction, no second chance in court. And while that decision brought a sense of closure to some, it reignited emotions for others. Because online, people were still divided. Some felt the justice system had done its job. Others believed the punishment didn't leave room for redemption. But here's the reality that can't be ignored. Nothing about this case exists in isolation. Not the sentence, not the debates, not the opinions. Because at the center of it all is a moment that can never be reversed. A decision made in seconds on Bayshore Boulevard that changed multiple lives forever. And this is where the story hits the hardest. Because while the internet argued, real people were left to live with the consequences every single day. A family grieving a loss that words can't fully capture. And a young man spending years reflecting on a choice that can never be undone. That contrast is what makes this story so powerful and so uncomfortable. Now think about this for a second. Why did this case go so viral? Why did millions of strangers feel connected enough to debate it, defend it, or criticize it? The answer says a lot about the world we live in today. Social media has the power to turn real-life tragedies into global conversations overnight. Platforms like TikTok don't just share stories, they reshape them. They add emotion, perspective, and sometimes bias. People see a face, a short clip, a piece of a story, and suddenly they feel like they understand everything. But do they? Because behind every viral post, there are details that don't trend. Pain that isn't captured in edits. Consequences that go far beyond a comment section. And that's what makes this story different. It forces you to look beyond the screen, beyond the opinions, beyond the viral moments, and ask yourself something real. How should justice be measured? Is it about punishment? Is it about fairness? Or is it about preventing something like this from ever happening again? Because in the end, this isn't just about Cameron Herrin. It's about choices, it's about consequences, and it's about how one moment, just seconds, can echo for decades. If this story made you think differently, make sure you subscribe and stay with me for more real stories like this. And before you go, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and your honest opinion on this case, because your voice is part of this conversation too.